We are live. We are live. We are live. Welcome to the wrestling show that doesn't have a name. I am Barry Grant Jr. This is my good friend and funny co-host, Josh Tariff. How you doing, sir?
I am doing great. You know why? Because we never give up, Barry. We never give up to put on great quality podcasts every week, just like our childhood hero, John Cena, never gives up. And he showed that this past Monday night on Raw. Oh, dude, it's like being a kid again. Come on.
It was extremely cheesy, but because it's Cena, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yes.
I'll take it.
It's the only person that it's okay to have.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only person that could be able to get away with being as corny as possible in that situation, because it's just like, all right, But listen, good to see you. You look good.
You as well.
And we're gonna jump into it, obviously, but I just want to say, you got some type of, what do you call it, crystal ball situation going on, because you did say this would happen. You did say this would happen.
Just remind me, because I don't even remember saying it.
Cena may just end up challenging Dom and getting the Intercontinental Championship. I'm just like, so when I seen it last night, I'm just like, so I had to text you and just like, oh, I didn't watch it yet.
I was okay. And I was waiting for this podcast to flat out ask you, because in the middle of last night. Now I wasn't watching Raw live.
Right.
I typically will watch Raw on a little bit of delay because I watch it with some good friends and their kids.
Yeah.
And while we are having dinner, before we've started watching it, I get a text from Barry that says, "You called it." And I have no idea what he's talking about. And all I replied to him was, "I haven't watched yet, so I don't know." And then I watched it. And then I was sitting to myself, I'm like, wait, what did I call?
Right.
I didn't even remember what I called. But apparently this what I called as far as Cena winning the. Did I say he would win it on the Raw?
I don't remember you saying that you would win it. I think you had said it might have been a Saturday night's main event. It was something to that. No, it wasn't Saturday night's main event. I'm sorry. It was Survivor Series. You were saying that he might have got it at Survivor Series.
Oh, okay.
That's what you said. Yes. So,
but we had to give the people from my home state of Boston, Massachusetts. We had to give them a show.
Oh yeah, and a show they did receive. I mean, it was a pretty good show, man. I'm not gonna say that it was great, but it was pretty good. And for WWE in these times right now, you'll take pretty good over the other way, right? So let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's go ahead and just talk about it. Dom is the Intercontinental Champion, and he's in Cena's hometown. And take it away. Cena challenges Dom, and we all knew what was going to happen, right? It was just, but at that point, I think the crowd was into it. Everybody was into it. We were just like, yeah, this needs to happen. Like, no matter how it plays out, no matter if he squashes Dom, no matter if he rolls him up, no matter if he squeaks one out, this needs to happen because it's just a good story. It's like Dom at this point of his run that he's been on, that he's been one of the hottest wrestlers in the company. We talked about how spectacular he is, how much he's evolved. He doesn't need the Intercontinental Championship right now. He really doesn't. Like, he's kind of on a level where you said it last week, where you wouldn't be surprised to see Dom inserted at some point into the main event picture. Like, you're not saying that he's going to be champion right now, but being in the main event picture is not, like, it's not impossible for Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, and as crazy as it sounds, as great of an Intercontinental Champion as Dominic has been, I have very much enjoyed him as the Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
This loss, if done correctly, is the best thing that could happen to him.
Oh, 100%.
Because now you've taken the IC title off of him, and he had a digital exclusive on from WWE social media, how Dominic was running around backstage furious on where was everyone in the Judgment Day. But it's now been a thing of, because for a long time it was Finn having the issue. Then JD tagged along with him. But the girls were on his side.
Right. You always had the girls on his side.
Now, based on Monday night, no one was on Dom's side or had Dominic's back. Dominic still has his thing going with Ray, with his dad. That will culminate in San Diego at Survivor Series in some fashion. They'll do something. But this will also lead to Judgment Day finally turning on Dominic. Dominic finally officially turning face. Even though his wrestling won't change, because he'll still be wrestling like Eddie Guerrero.
Yes.
Because everyone loves Eddie Guerrero and he's still doing this. Because even in Boston, the crowd was still into what Dominic was doing as much as they love Cena.
They'll always be. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was nice to hear. It was.
So you're going to have the combination of finishing with Ray, Judgment Day turn on him, matches with JD, feud with Finn, Liv returning, her feuding with Roxanne and or Raquel, and Dominic moving up the ladder and becoming your babyface main eventer on the younger side. If he stays on Monday Night Raw right now, he should stay on Monday Night Raw. Because when you look at the main event scene right now, as far as any young guys that they're pushing, you got Braun Breaker. Well, right now they're pushing him as a heel. So if they're going to keep him as a heel, you want to have some type of young underdog baby face.
Yeah.
Insert Dominic. So they could do this depending on when they want to pull the trigger on showcasing the future. Because obviously you have Roman, you have Jay, you have Jimmy, you have LA Knight, you got Rollins upon his return, you have CM Punk. All these guys that I named are older. Braun Breaker is not. Dominic is not.
Right.
So those are like, Logan Paul is not. And I know how much you love Logan Paul. So you put those guys into the mix with all the other older main eventers, and then you start building the future beyond WrestleMania. Dominic's not going to suddenly be champion in the next month or two.
No.
I wouldn't be against him, though, being a dark horse Rumble winner at this point. I'm not, again, really? I'm still leaning on the Sami Zayn bandwagon for the Rumble. But depending on what they do with Dominic for the rest of this year, I wouldn't be against them all of a sudden like, hey, let's put our foot on the gas.
Josh, you are a madman. So you got Sami as the winner.
No kidding. I'm a madman.
And the dark horse is Dom. Listen, we are holding you to this. Okay, we are holding you to this.
I'm comfortable saying it. I'm also very comfortable in saying I'm wrong because we know I'm back plenty of times as well.
That's good. That's good.
So, but what are your thoughts? So back with Cena.
Right.
Now Cena winning the IC championship. Mm-hmm. So 23-ish years completing the Grand Slam. What did it look like to you with Cena holding the Intercontinental Championship?
Extremely odd, obviously, for several reasons. One, because I'm trying to really pinpoint how many times John Cena actually chased the Intercontinental Championship throughout his early stages of his career. What is the number? I would love to see what the number is. Like, how many title shots did he actually get at the IC title?
My immediate guess is 1 or 2.
That's what I'm saying, because it was always US title base. He was on SmackDown, right? So that's an interesting question. So if you can be able to look that up for me,
I'm
while going
trying to
through
do
that.
a Google search for it right now.
Yeah. So that was the first thing. The second thing is it's weird just because of the belt that they do have, right? Like when I'm thinking about classic IC titles, classic IC moments, I'm thinking about Shawn Michaels beating Honky Tonk Man. I'm thinking about, all these other situations. Like that title doesn't have the oomph to me, right? I want the old school Intercontinental title because that picture of him holding the old school Intercontinental title, it would have looked so much better for me personally. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that just in historical terms, it's great. It's just great to have that silly look on his face. Like, how am I here? Right? Like, why am I even having this in my hand right now? And it's a great moment. Boston loved it. It was spectacular to see. I think he held his own in the match. I think Dom really, I would say that Dom at this stage of his career can carry a match. And I think for Cena to be able to trust him with that, you can see it that they had really, really good rapport in the ring. Dom did a great job. Good match, really entertaining and good finish. And, everybody went home happy. And I just think that it was a great moment. I don't know where they go from here. So is the tournament for the Intercontinental Championship, is that what we're doing? Like, does that make sense to crown an Intercontinental Champion, facing John Cena? Because either way, we do know that. Are we in agreement here that Cena loses regardless who it is?
He should lose his final match,
Right?
But stranger things have happened.
Right
now, before I get into this, just according to Google search, last night was the first time on TV or pay-per-view. John Cena challenged for the Intercontinental title.
So that makes a lot of sense. So he probably challenged for some house shows.
Apparently, a couple live event appearances over the years where he challenged for it. In 2015 against Wade Barrett and 2017 against Roman Reigns.
Wow.
But obviously just house shows where the title obviously didn't change. Who knows whatever happened in the matches.
Yeah.
This was the only time on TV that he ever had a match for the Intercontinental Championship.
Unbelievable. So it was a Grand Slam title that he never cared about having.
And let me ask you this, because this was the only question I had with it. So you open the show with the big promo and why Triple H is standing in the ring the entire time. I don't understand, but that's
very awkward. He looked weird.
It was very weird. I was fine with him introducing him, and then he shook his hand and left.
Yeah.
Then, though, they went right into the match. In the crowd of Boston, and I understand, and we're going to be getting into War Games, stuff like that. So I understand why they ended Raw the way they did. However, you could have still had Cena and Dominic as the main event.
Yeah.
To finish the show with Cena in Boston holding the title up with the pyro and all of that. What we got instead was Cena wrestling in the opening match, and then the following match was a tournament match to determine who can wrestle Cena.
Just really backwards.
It was just such a head scratcher with that.
Yeah.
Now,
like whose call would that be? That has to be Triple, right? That has to be Triple H's call.
I mean, I don't know for sure. Obviously, it's a combination of people. I'm sure Triple H is involved in it. I'm sure Bruce Pritchard is involved in it. I'm sure some people with Netflix are involved in it as far
as
right.
Unless Cena had a hard out, maybe he had to leave.
He had to fly to the other side of the planet to film something over the next few days.
Who knows?
Because the thing is, Cena is going to be at Madison Square Garden next week.
Correct.
And it was just reported over the last hour from us recording this that Netflix announced that Cena will be wrestling in his final match at Madison Square Garden. So for all we know, he might drop this title on
next week. Right.
Because you got him wrestling at the Garden, you got him wrestling Survivor Series, and then you got him wrestling in his final match.
Right.
So to your point, would whoever wins the tournament now be wrestling for the Intercontinental Championship? there are only two people that are in the tournament where I personally feel it would make sense for the Intercontinental title to be on the line if you were adding it in there.
Okay, who's that?
And that would be Sheamus, who we've talked about in this because that's the only title missing from his Ultimate Slam.
Right.
To accomplish only what Edge has done. And then the other would be Miz, because Miz has been big on how he is the reason that title became prestigious again.
Which is fair.
And it's tough to argue against that.
Yeah.
You could argue, okay, well, what about Gunther? Because since he has the record-long reign, because he has the record-long reign, I don't want Gunther to win the title again.
Yeah, he's been there, done that thing.
I got no problem if he ends up winning the tournament, but I don't want him going for the Intercontinental title.
Yeah.
If we last saw him just lose the World Heavyweight title, why is he coming back for the title below it?
Right. He should still be in the main event picture.
Should still be in the main event picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would prefer that Cena's last match does not have the Intercontinental Championship involved. Now, who we would end up losing it to, obviously, you would have to figure that out because also it's okay, well, who would benefit the most from beating Cena prior to that final match? Because is it even worth having Cena lose a match prior to the final match?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like if you go ahead and have him wrestle Monday Night Raw in the Garden and drop the title, then listen, nothing that Cena does at this point, leading up to his last match is really going to sully his run, but it just doesn't make sense, right? Like keep him clean until the last match, because that should be the match where he's literally passing the torch to somebody else, sharing the ring. They go ahead and they point to him, they leave the ring, leave him in there for him to be able to get his final send off, right? So that should be how it ends.
And I agree with you on that. So that is another reason why the IC title should not be involved, because whoever
is going to overshadow
him, should be in the ring celebrating.
Yeah.
But instead, then they would do exactly just shake hand, bow to him, and leave the ring. Well, then that shows, while it's understandable because you're saying goodbye to the GOAT, but then it shows, oh, well, the IC title is secondary. Yeah. And it should be secondary in that match, which is why it should not be involved in that match. At the same time, say Cena won. Say Cena was still Intercontinental Champion heading to the final match, and then he won his final match. Well, now we just had a tournament to determine who would face Cena, and now Cena had his last match, and then you would probably then create a tournament for the vacant Intercontinental Championship.
You think that's too many tournaments in a row?
Oh, God, yes. I enjoy a tournament when done correctly with a good story involved.
Yeah.
I know that many, many, many people over the years would talk about how Vince McMahon hated tournaments.
Hated them. Yeah.
So that's why these last few years you've seen more of them.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't have them back to back, because then it's just like, oh, well, then this other tournament was meaningless.
Right.
So I personally want Cena to lose the Intercontinental Championship before his final match. Now, maybe you throw him in a triple threat where he's not the one pinned and loses the match. Yeah, you could do that. It's just going to be tough to really kind of figure out, well, who is he going to face? So, if he's wrestling this Monday on Raw, well, we can't count anyone that's in the tournament to face him. Are you going to let Dominic have a rematch and let him have two of his final four matches? Probably not.
Right.
Are you going to have Ray get a shot at the IC title? I was really hoping that they had like a hint at the callback, the famous callback of the most heelish thing Cena ever did was when Rey Mysterio won the World Heavyweight title on Raw. Cena congratulated him and then challenged him to defend the title later that same night.
Yes.
So we see Cena backstage. He's going through everyone. And then there's Ray. And I'm just like, Ray, challenge him tonight. Do it.
Yeah.
Take the title from him tonight.
Get your link back. Yeah.
Get your link back. And it didn't happen. So I was kind of bummed. I'm like, this would have been so great. But So it's just like, well, then who else would he face? Because then also the talk is, well, and we're going to be getting into war games, so this will be a good segue into it. Well, right now for the men's war game match, we know 3 of the 4 participants on each team. If Cena is not going to have a singles match or not defending the Intercontinental Championship at Survivor Series, well, then it makes sense for him to be the 4th guy.
Yeah. But let's go back to actually the Intercontinental Championship, right? Let's just wrap it up with this before we segue into war games.
Put a bow on it.
Did you see somebody talked about the Intercontinental Championship and the tournament, and is going to have a surprise opponent on SmackDown? Did you see that?
Oh yeah, we're going to be talking about surprise opponents and stuff like that. Are we want to get to that right now?
No, I'm just talking about the fact that LA Knight has talked about the Intercontinental Championship. Who's to say that? I don't know how this comes about, but he ends up challenging Cena for the belt. And he goes over. And I can see that. I don't know how they get there, right? But it's just a very odd thing that he talked about congratulating Cena, but now he has his eyes on the Intercontinental Championship. So it's like, how do they get him there? What is the story to make him get there? You know, we
would have found out the entire story if they didn't cut him off. I mean, because LA Knight went from losing a match to not appearing on Raw to being in a commercial break promo that gets cut off.
Yeah.
And now he's going to be on SmackDown against a mystery opponent in the tournament.
That they're probably going to squash him with Open for me.
It's possible. I have a different guess on who his opponent will be. Just because as big of a pop that LA Knight will get, if they are truly punishing him, quote unquote, what all the rumors are saying, if they're punishing him, well, then they want to get someone in there that will get a louder pop than him.
But all right, let's go back to this, because I haven't heard about punishment. What are they punishing LA Knight for?
Well, that's been like the rumors and stuff, just because, well, again, how we talked a couple weeks ago about how he continues to get over on his own, and then holding up that fan's poster that said, like, we want LA Knight, not Jey Uso. That he held up during Raw. So a lot of people speculated that, well, that's starter stuff, and then he lost, and then he wasn't on TV, and now he was just in a commercial break. So what if it's not true? It's just been a lot of coincidences that have merged together.
Don't bash our guy that we're pushing to the moon.
Right. And being that he's going up against one of the 2 mystery people, and it's going to be on SmackDown, which is universally known as the land of opportunity. And Nick Aldis will not say the person's name, because if you say his name, he will appear.
Hold on.
And LA Knight is going to face Joe Hendry on SmackDown. And I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Hendry beats him, because Joe Hendry would be one of the few surprises, unless you suddenly threw like Roman Reigns at him, which wouldn't make much sense.
And he did say in that brief promo before he got cut off that he doesn't really care about being in the tournament. Like, he doesn't care about being in the door or who it is, right? So this is, I don't know. I just hate, I don't like what they doing with LA Knight, and I hope they fix it, because every time I look at him, the same thing with you, you know him, you're good friends with him. This is somebody who is money.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're just printing money with LA Knight, and like, you can't be this stubborn or blind to what everybody else sees except you guys. You might see it, you just don't want to admit it.
Yep.
And we don't like that. And as fans, if you continue to disrespect us like that, we do have a way to be able to tell you, do this or else. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so we'll see. We'll see we'll see who wins that struggle in regards to them being as stubborn as they're being. We have a comment here. Hi there, happy Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to you. If you are a veteran, salute to you. Salute to all the
Yes.
veterans out there. You know, to all the ones that lost their lives, all the people that are affected, for the people that are serving this great country. Salute to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, with LA Knight, you know, that's the possibility. And then, you know, then the other mystery for Raw, because they would save the surprise for Raw as like the bigger mainstream name than SmackDown. So Obafemi can certainly work as a surprise on SmackDown, and I can see that one of him just suddenly annihilating LA Knight. The thing is, since they announced Javon Evans, since they announced him in the tournament, that's why I'm leaning towards, I don't know if NXT people would be the mystery. I feel like, because they're going to announce the last 2 first-round matches on SmackDown. So there's going to be at least one NXT guy announced with that. Maybe it's going to be Obafemi. So that's why, like, these mystery names I see as either a TNA guy, a AAA guy, which honestly, you know, and that's no disrespect to the AAA roster, but I don't think the crowd will be hyped to see Mr. Iguana in this tournament.
I don't know about that, man. He's very over.
Oh, he's extremely over. I enjoy his work.
Yeah.
It's going to be like a return of somebody, whether a Roman or a Jericho or a Cardona or Joe Hendry. Like those 2 mysteries are going to be 2 of those 4 people I just named.
I would not mind Chris Jericho being in this tournament. That would be insane.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be insane. It really would be. Like, you know what I mean? And you hear the old school music, break the walls there.
I mean, if I had to specifically pick based on the way the setups are, who the 2 mystery guys are against LA Knight, I'm leaning towards Joe Hendry. And on Raw, being that it's Solo Sikoa that is going to face whoever the mystery guy is, I'm picking Roman.
Wow. Listen, if you're right on this, I am going to write a letter to the WWE headquarters and say, listen, I have a writer that we can be able to just pop in there and figure things out, because he's got you. He knows what you're doing. All right. So we just might as well just go hire him. Just hire him at this point.
It's good to know no letter will be written, because there's no way I'm going to be right about both of these. Again, I have the reasons, but the predictions are never correct.
Never
We've
correct.
got over this.
But I love the fact that you have like roads to go down. Like, you're not just saying these things to say it. There are roads that you're paving. They say, hey,
there's a method to my madness.
Yeah.
Or as some people will tell me, I have a madness to my method.
That's fair. Either way. So yes, let's go ahead and talk about War Games. We got a little bit more detail on Monday night in regards to who's the third guy, right? And of course, here comes Cody. We know it. That made everybody feel good. I don't mind it. I mean, we expected Cody to be one of the participants. So if it's, do we still think that it's going to be 4-on-4, or does it feel more to you at this point, Josh, it's 5-on-5?
Well, so they have 2 more Raws.
Yeah.
Which then would mean 2 more SmackDowns before War Games. So it might be tough trying to reveal a 4th and a 5th. I mean, you could. Was last year 5-on-5?
I think it was 5-on-5 because we had.
Yes, because you had the reunion of the Bloodline.
Yeah, the old school Bloodline. Yeah.
Okay, so it was 5-on-5. So I mean, yeah, in regards on the men's side, I do find it interesting that this means that this pay-per-view in San Diego, or PLE, the Premium Live Event, as they want all of us to now call it,
Horrible.
There will be no main event championship, no men's main event championship defended because they're both in the same war
In
games
the same game, yeah. On the same
So
team.
on the same team as well. So, I mean, we already mentioned Cena could very well be in it. So if he is, okay, well, that's 4. So then are we adding a 5th? There, and this would also depend on what's happening in this tournament. Would it be Roman in War Games if he's not in the tournament? Will they throw Jimmy Uso in to continue the story? Because, again, that makes sense. And then on the other side, where you have Logan and the Bronze, well, who makes sense to be aligned with them right now? It ain't going to be the MFTs.
Lesnar.
Brock is certainly one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But then who's the 5th?
Wow.
Because my thought, and on one hand, I would like both of these guys to get elevated into that main event scene, but at the same time, I don't think the general audience will want them in. But you already started planting a little bit of seeds last week on SmackDown, and that is if your 5th men are Aleister Black and Damian Priest. So you can continue that story going. You had Aleister, going after Cody last week on SmackDown. Damien's still out there. If you were throwing in 2 other guys that need that bump to be considered main event caliber, you could do that. Also, to your point earlier with Oba Femi, what if you added Brock and Oba to that team, and you just have you have Bronson, Brock, Oba, and then sleazy Logan Paul.
Yeah, the Monstars in Logan Paul.
Like, on paper, who would beat that team? No one. So that would be entertaining. And then again, it goes back to, okay, well, who's the 5th guy going to be on the good guy team?
It's when you put it like that, and you use the word that is kind of like the definition of them pulling at straws this year to be able to figure out what the recipe is for success, is throw in. Right? Like, that is a key word, because it's like War Games is supposed to be a culmination of a blood feud that you have no other choice but to lock these guys in a cage, the double ring, and figure it out, because nothing else is going to be able to hold them or stop them from attacking each other. But when you use the word throw in, now we're just doing War Games just to do War Games. And as a wrestling fan, you being in the business, that is not what we want. Because
Correct.
If you start to water down War Games, it loses its luster, and now it's just another pay-per-view. Like, it should never feel like another pay-per-view, or PLE, whatever you want to call it. Like, it's supposed to be what it's supposed to be. And if you're just throwing guys in just to be able to, it just, you know what I mean? So that's where I'm just like, man, I guess they're just gonna have to keep it 4-on-4, because if they really can't find a 5th guy on both sides that makes sense for the actual story, then just keep it 4-on-4 and just let it be. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I agree. And because, I mean, then you look on the women's side.
Yeah.
Because, on one hand, I am thrilled that Lash Legend is going to get this type of spotlight, because she has worked her butt off to be there and is a great asset to the women's division on SmackDown, where they
very underrated too, because the fact
very
that
underrated.
She's such a big, giant of a woman like that.
Right.
She's
needs body slamming Otis.
No, she needs to be pushed as such, and it's good to see her getting that opportunity.
Yes, but that said, Where's the blood feud as you just
Right.
described it?
Right.
For her and Nia to get added into this. The only type of quote unquote blood feud that there's been would be, the build between Asuka, Kairi, and Io and Rhea. So
Right.
those four make sense.
Right.
Charlotte and Alexa, they've just been busy defending the tag titles against everybody. So they haven't really built a huge feud. And 5 days ago, Nia Jax is like, hey, you know what? I want the tag titles. Hey, Lash, come help me.
Right.
Hey, now we're in War Games.
Yeah, and but that's the thing though, right? Like instead of it being a War Games, again, just have the traditional, Survivor Series matchup. I just
so much rather that this year.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. It's like, I am not somebody who's like, okay, well, the men can have it and the women can't. Like, no, if it doesn't make sense for both sides, then just have the traditional match, because you're now forcing it, and people are going to remember the last War Games match that you've had rather than all the good ones that you probably had before. And it's about, what have you done for me lately? So now you're gonna have to now make up for this for a year of building or whatever it is for the next War Games to be able to get the stink away from the one that you just put on. So it's they have to try to figure this out. If you do not have a real legit feud where it's like, yo, this is going to be crazy. Because to be honest with you, me watching this, I've been watching it for a while, storyline, you're watching it. I am not super excited about War Games. And that's sad, because yes, I'm going to watch it. Yes, I'm going to be tuned in to see exactly what happens. But in regards to just like, oh, I can't wait for War Games. No, like it just feels like another PLE to me, where there's no payoff and we're just going to continue to just have something else after that. It sucks that that we're here and they have not developed the War Games rivalries on either side, men or women, to be able to even have this match viable, and it sucks.
Right, because even Logan Paul and CM Punk, that feud has lasted a week now.
Right.
That doesn't qualify for War Games.
No.
And I will put the icing on the cake with your point, which I 100% agree with, as far as what you need the significance of that match for. Go back to the pay-per-views titled Hell in a Cell.
Oh, love those.
What is the one match that pops into your head when I tell you Hell in a Cell pay-per-view? What's the one match that pops in your head? Because I'll tell you, there's one match that immediately pops into mind and that pops into most. You're thinking of the specific pay-per-view Hell in a Cell.
Undertaker, Brock Lesnar?
That is not what I'm thinking now.
Okay. Which one is it?
Seth and Bray Wyatt.
Okay. Oh, yeah, in regards to just the negativity of having
to your point, you have one that either is thrown together or doesn't work for whatever reason, because in that case they had to end in a DQ in a Hell in a Cell match or something
and
crazy.
And the red, like and remember the red cage?
Oh yeah. But it left such a bad taste in everyone's mouth. It still went on for years after, but no one took it seriously, and eventually that faded away. And we're in a similar situation on what might be happening here with War Games. Now, that said, these people that are in the match, they're going to tear the house down. The match itself is going to be fun and entertaining, and Logan Paul is going to do something bizarre, and Braun Breaker is going to spear through the cage.
Do you think Bronson is gonna do the same thing that he did last time?
I hope not, for his sake. I really hope he doesn't break both his feet or whatever he did last year. But again, the wrestlers themselves will do great. The purpose of it, to your point, is to build a story for it to have such an intensity in their feud. So Now it's just going to be like, oh, well, who's going to be in the match this year? Almost kind of like, like there's some years Money in the Bank feels that way. Who we're just throwing in to be in the ladder match.
Yeah, I agree. Money in the, exactly. Like it's there's you look at Money in the Bank, and it's having that same watered down effect that now they're throwing onto War Games. So they're gonna have to fix it, man. They're gonna have to fix it. I don't know if the injury to Seth Rollins may have kind of just shifted things a little bit. I think that's
1,000%.
Yeah, I think that's where you kind of see
it absolutely did
the missing of Seth Rollins being there, right? I think him being there would have really just been able to kind of like iron stamp that thing or whatever you want to say. Like, but now you're grasping at straws, and it's like, yeah, okay, we can't pull out and not have a match. So we're going to have the match anyway. So I think we understand that circumstances are what they are. But it still doesn't make it any less disappointing, right? It's just like, all right, like, look, hopefully they can be able to create something out of this that makes us super interested into it. So, we'll see. Mm-hmm. I am going to be optimistic. I'm not going to poo-poo all over it. I'll be optimistic.
Well, I'm optimistic for your optimism.
So moving on. Now we have, I had brought this up to you when we were combing through topics, Josh, that TKO, very interesting that TKO president, and I'll go ahead and share the screen here. So TKO president suggests WWE could move on from certain premium live events. So they're talking about, let's see here. I'm trying to see where the actual, here we go. It said they're open to new ideas, never seem exhausted. They're ready to take on a new shot, a new risk, a new opportunity. Shapiro said, right now, a lot of our PLEs were created by Vince McMahon. We need to get in the business of taking that torch and moving past that. So Nick Khan, they said, it created WrestlePalooza, which is the worst name ever, which is the launch event for our new ESPN deal, which did incredibly well and may turn into a super franchise. We hope not.
It didn't do incredibly well at all.
That you talk about gaslighting to the 10th degree. Not to mention, from a merch standpoint, I don't need to tell you, securing the IP rights and then selling merch at WrestlePalooza, let's just say it was a real winner. So you see where they're going now. Like, for them to throw Vince McMahon's name out there, they're literally trying to tell you, hey, everything that Vince McMahon put a name on, yeah, we're probably going to get rid of that. So, who knows if WrestleMania will be WrestleMania anymore? Who knows if there will be, a Survivor Series? Who knows if Royal Rumble will still have its name? Like, all of these shows sound like they may end up getting rebranded at some point. And it's just like, bruh, like, no. And my thing is that you bought the company. Don't you own the IP rights to the names, if I'm not mistaken, Josh?
As far as I know, you do. To their point, they're just wanting to make sure that even though they own the rights, they want to separate themselves from Vince McMahon as much as possible.
I get it. But
on one hand, yeah, I can understand that.
Right. But again, on the other hand, it's like these names are etched into wrestling lore. Like, although it might be attached to Vince McMahon's creation, look, it's one of those things where it's like, we love the name. Just keep the name. We don't care about who created it. We love the name. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's like somebody, like, for example, if you grew up in a family that's just bad, and you had a bad experience as a child, at the end of the day, you still got named by these people that you might not like. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't change their name just because they kind of went through something really, really, changing it as a kid or traumatic. Like, that's your name. You keep your name. Some people do, some people don't, but just leave it alone. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't know if everybody agrees with me with that, but I don't think that there's a reason to change.
So I'm attempting to try to send you in like our little private chat that we have here, but I don't know if it will let me. So you can just look it up yourself. Pull up the logo for Survivor Series this year. And go in and you can share it on the screen.
All right, let me go ahead and see this here. WWE Survivor Series 2025 logo. Okay.
And then after that, I'm going to ask you, after you show that one, to then pull up 2024 if you can. I know I'm putting you to work last minute here.
Yes, you are, and I hate being put to work. I'm lazy. Let's see.
We'll wake up.
All right, so let's go ahead. We're gonna share this one here.
Yeah.
So there's the logo.
Yeah. So click on just like that first one, just so it's a little bigger there. So Survivor Series War Games, standing out a little bit. Go to 2024.
Let's go to 2024. Okay, look at that.
Survivor Series War Games.
Right.
Just for fun, go to 2023. I haven't even looked at it, but I'm just curious. Survivor Series War Games.
Right.
They have been implementing the name War Games more and more with Survivor Series. They've been announcing it.
So I see where you're going with this.
They've been teasing some of them for a little while.
So you're saying that they're gonna ditch the Survivor Series very soon and just call it War Games.
When was the last time they had an actual Survivor Series match?
It's been years.
Right. But they've been having War Games, and that's been the headline of it. And that's what all their focus is on it. So this is, to me, their way, as far as for one of the names to make the adjustment. Now, WrestleMania, because that's the most mainstream name, that one's not being touched.
Right.
Royal Rumble, that one is not going to be touched.
You think so?
I don't think that one will be touched because so many people always claim that is their favorite show of the year, myself included. SummerSlam, now that one, the name rolls off the tongue.
I think SummerSlam
doesn't mean that
is the
they
best
can't
name.
Change that one.
Yeah, I think SummerSlam is the best name, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if down the road, if they were really trying to change these things, that could be a name they change. Survivor Series of the Big Four is easily the one that could change, and they've already been in the process of implanting in our brains that it has changed. Because if you're under the age of 30, more people are calling this pay-per-view War Games than Survivor Series.
Right, right.
So now what do they do with some of the others? You know, King of the Ring. Well, that they've kind of just been putting more so in like a Night of Champions or Crown Jewel show.
Right.
So that name is that was like a kind of Vince creation. It's kind of fading away. You know, some of the other names, they've taken some of them and have used them like for NXT.
Yes.
No Mercy is one that pops up in my mind immediately. Halloween Havoc. Well, Halloween Havoc being WCW.
Yeah.
You know, Great American Bash was WCW. So, you know, it's a matter of, okay, well, what are they going to change it to? Because, you know, you change it to things like WrestlePalooza.
Yeah, that's my thing.
That ain't good.
That's my thing. Like, if you guys are going to be in charge of renaming our beloved PLEs or pay-per-views, y'all are off to a bad start because WrestlePalooza, get that garbage out of here. That, like, as a wrestling fan, I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed that people sat in a room and said, all right, we need a name for this brand new pay-per-view that we're going to be on ESPN. The world's going to be watching. We're the world sports leader. What you got? And somebody says, oh, well, what about WrestleFest? Nah, we don't like that one. We don't like that one. What about Clash of Warriors? Nah, we don't like that one either. And then some guy that's just on his phone, what about WrestlePalooza? That one sounds great. No, it doesn't. It's a terrible focus meeting that you guys had, focus group. Somebody got a raise off that stupid ass name, and now we're stuck with it. It's ridiculous.
Now, did you know, because you may or may not have known this, that name has been used before.
It has, yes.
In ECW.
ECW, right. And it made sense for ECW because they made it cool. I don't think WWE is going to make it cool. That's all I'm saying. Like ECW, ECW has a nice cheesy name.
My point with this is, WWE owns all the rights of ECW.
Right.
Oh, let's pull a name from something that we haven't used yet and make it our own. Let's do this one. Hey, great. Still a terrible idea. But It's like, we have it in our back pocket to use. So, what others will they use from the back pocket? Because now, guess what? They also have the partnership with TNA. Don't be surprised if we have a King of the Mountain match sometime in the next few years.
Could you imagine if we get a Bound for Glory?
Well, TNA still exists and still use Bound for Glory. But my point is, they could use those things if they choose. AAA. What if they choose to use someone from that? They've grown these partnerships with Japan. They just had Hank and Tank from NXT just won the Pro Wrestling Noah Tag Team Championships.
Oh yeah. They had that. Yeah, they had that partnership for a good while now.
Yep. Right. So it's just like, all right, well, what's stopping them from eventually taking a name from that? And
You're
then,
right.
Of course, there will be their focus groups that will come up with their own original names too. Yeah. And 90% of them will be bad. There'll be one or two that'll be like, oh, okay, that's not a bad name. But most will be like WrestlePalooza, and we're going to shake our head and be like, it sounds, for us, it sounds too childish. Well, who's their main demographic and who buys the most merch?
Right.
They want the names to be eye-catching for kids. Because guess what? All the people who are fans of WrestleMania and Royal Rumble and SummerSlam and Survivor Series, they're all our age, if not older.
And older, right.
And let's be real. How much WWE merch have you bought yourself this year?
This year?
Yeah.
Not much.
Okay. Not much is more than most. The people who buy it are kids. Yeah. Or the parents of said kids who
they are not catering the product to us.
Right. So Wrestle Explosion. Wrestling Boom. Yeah. Just like pick another loud noise and put wrestling next to it.
Right.
Well, guess what? That 8-year-old over there is going to be like, I want to watch Wrestling Boom.
Are you getting excited for WrestleSlam?
The Wrestle Slam-a-lama Ding Dong.
Just like, come on, man. Enough. But no, you are 100% right that, they are definitely planting the seeds to be able to transition somewhere else. And I agree with you in regards to they have so many different IPs that have been just dormant that they're just going to be able to say, okay, well, let's just pull this here. Let's make a little tweak here. And so, yeah, I can see that happening. I don't like it, but I can see it happening. Moving on. Drew McIntyre has been suspended indefinitely. And
clearly he must have done something very, very wrong and made the news to be suspended indefinitely. What was he betting on matches? Was he
no
was it what else could it have been? Some type of extortion?
No.
Could he was just so angry that he lost a match and was just doing some reckless driving? Was he what possibly could cause an indefinite suspension in the world of WWE?
Touching the golden goose.
Oh,
that's what.
No. How? Banish him.
Touching the golden goose. You don't touch Cody, and that's just all it is. The fact that he has been, as you say, he's been on the right side of things and make it seem like he's on the wrong side of things. It kind of just furthers the storyline, furthers what they are attempting to play out here. And but yeah, so people are looking into it, and there was a report that came out yesterday, I believe, that said that Drew is being written off TV because he does have some potential movie roles coming up, Highlander, some other stuff. And, I was going to run with that today, but there was an update. The agent came out, and I want to go ahead and put that up as well. So let's go ahead and just share that. Says that agent denies claim about Drew McIntyre storyline suspension from WWE. Now, listen, it could be cap. Everybody's kind of like playing into this stuff. It says Dave Meltzer claimed that McIntyre was doing a movie. I mean, every time you hear Dave Meltzer, you may have to take it with a grain of salt. However, Nick Piccolo said that the movie doesn't shoot until April 26th. Henry Cavill tore his ACL. It's super effing public info right now. And he tweets, what the F am I supposed to do with this? Dave Meltzer, this is so mind-numbingly dumb that it actually makes me want to quit X. You almost won. I genuinely feel so sorry for you because what's the effing point? Yeah, he had said some stuff here. But, now his agent has to cover him, but there is some gray area here. But who knows? Who knows what happens? I think that writing him off TV, if we're gonna go ahead and talk about that particular side of things, Josh, writing him off TV kind of plays into what we were talking about some weeks back, where it's like, okay, if he doesn't beat Cody, where does he go from here? Do you write him off TV for a little while, repackage him, wait until Fatu gets back, and then you can kind of like, do that again, right? But if this is BS that the agent is putting out there, and it could, who knows? Well, we'll see how it plays out. But if it is BS and we go ahead and go think about that particular scenario, then now they're going to continue the storyline. And now we get the other thing that we were also discussing as well. If he does get his rematch again, then you have to put the strap on Drew McIntyre to have him finally be able to get over the hump and get over the conspiracies that has been happening to him. The office holding him down and Nick, all of these things that have been going against him, quote unquote, and he finally gets to be the guy that was right all along, right? So, both sides can be able to play out here, and we really have to see how that unfolds, to be honest with you.
Am I the only one whose biggest takeaway from that article was him saying that he'll be gone at around April 26th?
Yeah.
Because that means, okay, well, he's not running off now. He's going to be running off after Mania.
After Mania, right. So at some point, he's going to have an extended break.
Right.
So if that's the case, and if that's the real case, then maybe we've already gotten the answer.
Well, maybe we have the answer on who's our fifth guy or fourth guy for War Games if he is not gone.
Right.
But now that just drags the story even more, though, because we already know Cody's not defending the title at War Games. See how
which means that's probably going to extend it. That's going to extend it into Royal Rumble then, right?
So you're going to extend this 2 more months?
Or Saturday night's main event?
Well, it won't be the Saturday night's main event in December because, that's Cena night. So it won't be that one. I don't know if there's another Saturday night's main event before the Royal Rumble. It would probably make sense if there is one.
Maybe. But if it's not, then I guess that's the next chance that Drew gets is the actual Rumble.
Right. So you got one of 2 scenarios here based on that story that you read.
Yeah.
And because who knows? Everything in that story might be completely false. We don't know.
Exactly. It'd be complete bullshit.
Everything could be complete BS. So you have one of two things. You have Drew filming something now and maybe gone through Mania. Maybe he's just off TV for the next 4 to 6 months.
Right.
Or Drew comes back sooner than later. Maybe he's in War Games. Maybe comes back right after War Games. Has a feud with Cody. Or finishes the feud with Cody. And whether he wins the title or loses, then has something with Jacob. And loses that. And that's Drew until Mania with Cody and Jacob. And then he's gone. So you're either keeping him off TV for a significant period of time, or you're going to have him lose and lose again, or you're going to have him finally win and then immediately lose to Jacob. Or Sammy, being that Sammy's going to win the Rumble. So
I love how you throw that in there. Just love
I feel like that's going to just be a weekly thing until it actually happens, and then I will wear a crown. So it's one of those options for him. My personal opinion, just based on how things have been, written with him, I think he stays off until like after Mania.
Wow.
And then he is just the top of the top.
Like maybe this is his Seth Rollins favor, right? Like, do the jobs, do what you got to do. Make sure you continue to extend Cody's run. We gotta keep pushing it. And then when you come back, we're gonna strap the rocket to you.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, listen, I don't mind it, right? Just as long as whatever story you're telling just kind of makes chronological sense. Like we don't necessarily want to just have it this jumbled mess and then you go ahead and do this, right? Because wrestling fans, we don't forget timelines. Like we remember everything, right? So you don't want to go ahead and try to mess up that timeline just because you think that we forgot about it. Like everything has to make sense and play into wherever you guys left off and whatever branches came off of that tree. You got to make sure that everything connects and makes sense.
Yes, you absolutely do. And again, and the other way makes sense too, that Drew suddenly comes back and maybe it's the type of thing where Paul Heyman uses his powers that he has backstage to lift the suspension to let Drew be the final member of War Games. So then that can continue his feud with Cody and then go from there. That will certainly work as well. Even if he's just gone for a few weeks and comes back right after War Games. So, or he costs Cody the match at War Games. That also works.
Right. Finds a way to come through the crowd and, yeah. Now here's another thing that I want to add to it. It got nothing to do with War Games, but it does have to do with Drew. Give me a percentage. This is a wild take, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. I don't care.
Because we know I do not stand for wild takes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, how dare I say something wild on this show, right?
Yeah.
Everything's been pretty much even keel.
Yeah.
What percentage do you put that? Hear me out. Drew McIntyre and Nick Aldis get into a ring and actually have a match at some point. Can I see that? Can that be something that I want? I'd like to see that. Come on.
The percentage is not zero. There's definitely a chance with it.
The guy's still in good shape. I don't even think Nick Aldis is 40 yet.
He just turned 39, and that was a joke on social media, how he's younger than all the main eventers.
All of them.
The one caveat with it is your authority figure, no matter who it is, if suddenly they are wrestling, they're considered the villain.
But haven't they already been playing this role with Nick Aldis that he's sort of like this? You know what I mean? Like it's just weird.
I love what they've done with Nick Aldis because
Yes, me too.
he is the fairest GM I feel like I've ever watched on TV. He doesn't care if you're loved or hated. He treats you exactly the same. And part of me feels like that's why if you were to ask me that same question, but switch out Drew McIntyre with Randy Orton, my percentage would be a little higher.
Right, because because he's already received the several RKOs.
Correct. And if he were to, suddenly wrestle Randy Orton, who's the crowd going to be behind? They're going to be behind Randy Orton, not Nick Aldis.
Right.
So is there percentage-wise a chance for it? Yes. Is that percentage in double digits? Probably not.
Probably we're probably at the
we're at like a 7 or 8%.
Yeah, you say 7, 8. I was thinking more about like 4 or 5.
Well, I'm thankful that neither of us said 6, 7 because we're just too old.
Exactly. So I can dream, I can wish because I'm a big Nick Aldis fan. I've always been a Nick Aldis fan. So when I heard that he was coming to WWE in some capacity and being the GM, I was just like, all right, cool, but that's just for now. They'll end up getting him back in the ring at some point, and I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting.
Wouldn't be surprised if he's still waiting too, but I can't speak on his behalf.
Facts. Big facts. Any final words, Mr. Tariff?
Oh, final words. I'm looking forward to seeing how the brackets are set for the Cena tournament. So we know Rusev has advanced, we know Sheamus has advanced, and that's not a surprise to either of us. We kind of talked about that last week.
Yep.
I would not be surprised if LA Knight loses on SmackDown.
Get squashed.
The Miz Jey Uso match to me is very intriguing.
It is.
I can see Miz somehow winning that match.
I think Miz ends up finding a way to cheat and winning that match, whether it be by disqualification. I think he can win by disqualification and wins the match.
I can even see Miz somehow weaseling his way to the finals of this tournament.
Yeah.
And really, the only other name that we know of was because last week on SmackDown, Nick Aldis told R-Truth that he is in the tournament. So if they are following their own stories, which they haven't always, but if they are currently following their own stories, we know one of the final 4 names that would be announced would be R-Truth. So I'd be really intrigued to see who they decide to put him with, because could that be the spot for Oba?
Right.
Have Oba Femi just beat R-Truth in his debut to advance in the tournament.
That would make a lot of sense. Yeah,
it would. And so I'm very intrigued to see how the brackets shape up with it. And then, of course, because between now and the next time we do one of these, we'll know who these mystery people are. So I will either be a genius or myself. And we will take it from that.
Listen, man, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you because I was just like, you know what? The fact that he just nailed this Cena thing, I was like, unbelievable that I actually have to come on this show and say you were right. I don't like to do that with anybody. I like to always be the one that's correct.
Right? See, I like it when you do that, though.
Yeah.
All right. So again, my crazy predictions then for the mysteries are Joe Hendry on SmackDown and Roman Reigns on Raw.
That one right there is crazy. Roman Reigns. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm with. I'm not. I don't know if I'm with you with the Roman Reigns one, but the Oba Femi one, yeah, I am.
With Oba Femi and Truth instead of Oba being the mystery guy.
Yeah.
Either way, get Oba in the tournament.
Get Oba in the tournament.
Get him in the tournament for sure.
my final, I guess, thing to say.
Your final words of wisdom.
Final words of wisdom
as we exit this podcast
is that I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't know how they're gonna be able to figure it out. I just want to see Trick Williams. Just Trick Williams is my guy. Okay, like just like how you are pushing Sammy. Whenever I see Trick Williams, I'm gonna be on this show and I'm just gonna tell you, hey, Trick Williams belongs in the main event picture right now. Like, I don't care. He's that money to me. I saw Roman Reigns coming a mile away. Even when he was in NXT, I said that guy right there is going to be the next main eventer in the league in WWE. Why? Because I know Vince and I know exactly what he's looking for. And Trick Williams, he has all the tools to be the guy. And I'm telling you right now that when they do say that he's up and he's here, give me about 7 months and Trick Williams is going to be running this company. That's what I'm saying. That's my word. That's my wish. And that's what I hope.
I don't hate it because I think Trick Williams is also money. Is he still feuding with Ricky Saints?
He is but we know what's going to happen with that. I think after that point, after Ricky Saints wins that feud, come on, he's going to have to get called.
Right. But my point with that is that's why I think Trick might not be in this tournament.
No. He won't be in the tournament.
But yeah, Trick is more than ready to be on the main roster.
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't even talking more about the tournament. I just want to see him. Like, I don't even care where it is. I just want to see him in the big stage. That's it.
You want to see him with Carmelo again or keep him separate?
No.
So maybe. Got it. Okay.
No, I didn't like them when they were together in NXT. I told you I should tell everybody that Carmelo guy is all right, but the guy behind him, that's the guy. That's star. So, that's my wish.
There you go.
Good show, Mr. Tariff. We will be back next week. I don't know if it'll be, this day but we'll figure it out. But we will be here. We will let you guys know when we are going live. Thank you for those that are in here that are watching the show, that continue to watch the show, that continue to support the show. We are going to continue to do these. They're very fun. I love my co-host. He's very funny. And, the fact that he gets it right 98% of the time makes me look a lot better. So, and
I tolerate my co-host.
Yeah, exactly. Once your percentage starts to drop, I'm going to maybe have to get a sub or something like, listen, his percentages are dropping. I don't like it. Okay, so we're gonna have to park him for a little while until he figures it out.
You're just gonna leave me to make like a promo advertisement on a commercial break.
Yes, exactly. Okay. And not even we're gonna LA Night you. We're like, while you're doing the promo, I just cut it off. Just cut it off. Yeah.
That doesn't make me happy.
No. But until next week, y'all, stay safe, stay cool. Peace.